Come on, come on, it's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. And for the second time today, how you doing, guys?
Hello.
I haven't seen you in ages.
Really enthusiastic. Yeah, I mean, no, I haven't seen you for at least 20 minutes.
And to be fair, that's not long enough, Keith.
Yeah. See what you did there.
Yeah. And for those listening not knowing what's going on, we've split the podcast into two. We've put the gaming stuff on one side and the TV stuff on the other side. The downside is that TV stuff seems quite dreary and dreadful. So it's not going to be a happy run, gents. I'll try and make it as exciting and as nice as possible. But in the last 20 minutes, guys, what have you been up to?
Actually, I've just hoovered the whole house.
Oh, you hoovered the house. Keith, did you have that Kit Kat that you were talking about?
Yeah. I can't do it.
And then joke that is, I'm afraid, gents. Cup of tea and chocolate biscuit is usually how I refer to it, but yep. Keith calls it Kit Kat. I don't know how hard it is getting Kit Kats in your part of the world.
Easy. I'm next to Asia, so they're all weird tasting ones like green tea Kit Kats and Thai tea Kit Kats and really random Kit Kats.
Yeah.
So,
yes. I remember seeing them in the shops when I was over that way. I was like, oh, I love Kit Kat, but I don't know if I'd love that.
Yeah, there is some random ones. The green tea one's quite nice.
I've seen the wasabi Kit Kat.
Yes, they are real. They are real.
Wasabi Kit Kats. Anyway, without further ado, it's time to get into the movie news. I'm going to use this as an opportunity. Because Amber Heard shit the bed, Matt Mikkelsen's had to take over from Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts. And he turns around and says it's creative suicide, having to copy Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts. Now, I like Matt Mikkelsen. He seems all right. I've not heard of him saying any stupid things, which is always good. But yes, he's the new Grindelwald after the libel trial with Amber Heard. So now Matt Mikkelsen's 55. Crikey, he's 55. And he said that no one would be interested in trying to copy anything, and it would be creative suicide when it comes to replacing Johnny Depp. Now, there may be a way around this, and I think the way around this is to Voldemort him and have him turn evil and look evil at the same time too. Now, Voldemort, if I remember correctly, in the Harry Potter films, turned that way because of using the Horcrux things. Maybe there could be a similar thing here with him. He could use something which might make him a little stronger and a little darker, and that could change the way he looks. So Matt Mikkelsen might have to apply 50 pounds of latex makeup. But I can understand what it's like having to replace him, and the fact that they still pay Johnny Depp at the same time too. It seems just folly in my eyes. It's like it's weird because he says that everyone's expecting us to take a different path, and it's like, well, I can't really take a different path. I have to kind of stick to where it was going. Yeah. In regards to Grindelwald, sorry, I can't remember his name. I was calling Voldemort then. So it's not something I envy having to do. And it's a similar thing probably with like when Joss Whedon had to take over the Justice League. It's something that you didn't really want to do because reasons. It's not good.
And he did a bit of a shit job as well. And as it turns out, the Snyder cut, while still a shit movie, is better than the Joss Whedon cut.
I wouldn't say it's actually shit. I just it needs a dose of fun in it. That's what it needs. That's what it's missing.
It needs a dose of talent in it.
If you put some fun in it, I think people would have embraced that movie differently. And if someone would sit next to Zach and tell me, Zach, we don't need that woman singing for fucking a minute and a half.
We don't need two Nordic women singing for the next 3.5 minutes of a scene. I kind of see what he's saying here. I'm just pissed that Johnny Depp was fired in the first place. Considering what came out in that trial, it is mass hypocrisy of the strongest order. The fact that, Amber Heard might have won the case, but she didn't come out of it smelling of roses, and she's going to be in Aquaman 2, which is just wrong. And it stinks of this bullshit double standards that Hollywood currently has, and it's quite amusing, really, because they're destroying themselves, and they're going to go down the Swanee.
To talk politics for a moment, we had an election in this country this week, and the Labour parties, who are the opposing the Conservative parties, position was, you're all bigoted, horrible people, now vote for us. And they lost somehow, and I don't get. They still haven't figured out that doesn't work, because the Conservative Party weren't offering anything. I'll be honest with you. Sorry,
I don't. I mean, Hollywood is just it's his own worst enemy at the moment. So I don't envy Mads Mikkelsen, but I like the dude. I think he has. He can play good and bad. He is actually quite a talented actor. Yes, he tends to get cast in things like Hannibal and stuff, but he played quite a sympathetic character in what's his face, Star Wars. So it's I think he could be interesting as Grindelwald. But yeah, they're going to have to do something to acknowledge his change in appearance. We'll just have to see. But they didn't do that with Richard Harris. They kind of just, we had this wonderful Dumbledore that was exactly like the books described. And then we went to this angry Scottishman. So, well, we did. I mean, it was
more Irish than Scottish.
No, Scottish. Well, I don't know what.
More Irish than Scottish.
I really didn't like Dumbledore after the second book. He wasn't the Dumbledore that was in the book. Well, you would. We've had this argument.
We've had this argument before, and it goes like this. Yeah. It's like Richard Harris, even to Richard Harris's acknowledgement, did fuck all as Dumbledore as a character. He said he just stood there. He wasn't very happy with it because he didn't have anything to test him. That was the truth. He was like, kind of, not really. I'll kind of sit in my trailer and drink. I'm sure he was Irish because Richard Harris was Irish, and it's probably the one. What was the one with the time turner? That one he kind of stuck out quite a bit in.
The third one.
Oh, I can't remember the name of the book.
The Prisoner of Azkaban was where it was.
Prisoner of Azkaban. Yes,
Azkaban. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he came in, because Richard Harris was in the first two, because the first two were pretty much filmed back to back. So, and then
the children are small. We need to film quickly. What was the response? They will grow up quickly. We need to put both films out one after the other. We'll teach them on set.
Well, yeah. What I noticed, Colin Farrell actually played Grindelwald in the films.
He did, but he played Grindelwald taking Polyjuice lotion.
He was disguised.
However, it was still him.
Yes, this is true.
You're right. There's opportunities there, Nige. I think they should go down the he's gone evil, he looks evil route. I think he should have fucked up face in one of them.
I don't know where these films are going. To be honest, I think J.K. Rowling lost the plot a long time ago. So
I think I would say the first film worked.
I suppose my issue with her is that she endorsed this play that, if you actually read it, sounds like a piece of fan fiction off one of those dodgy backroom internet sites, fucking Voldemort's daughter and all that. And it really is it was fan fiction.
Oh, was that the
bad fan fiction?
The one that was on the plane where they had was it Harry Potter's kid? I can't remember.
It was and they had the black actress to play Hermione, where they should have turned around and said, not that we didn't write her as anyway. It's like, kind of, have you seen this actress? She's really good. She can play the part. We should have been the comeback. And so which everyone would have gone, yeah, all right, fair enough. That's a good point.
But J.K. Rowling's response was, I never said Hermione was white. Yes, you did, because you endorsed all of the sketches in the American books and the covers to all the books, which clearly depict Hermione
and she actually
white.
Described her.
So, yes, and she does describe her. You're absolutely correct. So it's bullshit. The actress in question, brilliant actress, who played her initially. I had no problem with her. It was the virtue signaling bullshit that I had a problem with. It was the fake shit. What they should have said is, look, we've cast her as a black woman, get over it. That would have been fine. It was all
even
the
she was the best
virtue
actress.
bullshit. Yeah,
She's the best actress for the job. We hired her.
Yeah.
None of this rubbish make up a load of bull. Don't make it up. She's a great actress. You've hired her for the job. Done.
Yeah, that's what it should have been.
That's all it needed. She was the best person who auditioned by a mile, so we've gone with her.
True.
Yep.
Okay.
I need about 350.
350.
That's classic. We wanted to play that one for a while.
Did I send monster? Was it you that sent me, or did I send you? I took a trip to Loch Ness, and I tried to get a shot of the thing, and I offered him the one thing he couldn't refuse, and it was somebody with $3.50 in their hand. It was just a picture of Loch Ness and $3.50. I thought that's amazing.
I don't think I got that one. Okay.
I'll have to send that to you.
All right, bit of a sad one, but a completely understandable one. Guardians of the Galaxies, Dave Bautista and James Gunn confirmed Drax's future in the MCU. Where's the line? Former WWE star Dave won fans as Drax the Destroyer alongside Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana in the Marvel movies. However, he's worried that he'll explain that Drax's story will most likely come to an end in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Thanos is gone. That was kind of his thing. It was, if you know the comic books, his thing was that he was after Thanos, and he's gone. So, yeah. What does he do now? So from him, it's weird. Right, Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be a lot easier than any of the Earth-based Marvel films, because they're not going to have to explain the 5-year jump that difficult, because they can just be floating off in space somewhere. But that thing, Drax is going to have trouble, because that's what he was living for, is to kill Thanos. And he said at the end of the first film when he killed off what's-his-mush. What's his name? Ronan. Killed off Ronan the
Destroyer. Or Ronan the Accuser. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, no, it kind of makes sense. This does. I mean, the internet's all gone absolutely apeshit over it. It's like, no, if they give him a nice ending, if they put him off in a happy home, if he goes off with what's her face, I think that's what will happen. They'll make a home somewhere together, and that'd be cool. Because Drax hates her, and I find her repulsive. He's going to end up marrying her.
I think he's going to die.
Is that the one with the
mantis?
Yeah,
the thingies. Yes.
I don't want them to kill him off. I think setting him up in a field somewhere and letting him settle down would be the way to honor him. Killing him off, I don't know. I don't know if that would work. I mean, James Gunn has hinted that wasn't what he was planning to do. So I suspect that they're going to give him a happy ending. I hope they are.
I would kill him off. Yeah, but I would have it so you got like Groot leads him into the afterlife, and he gets to see his family finally, and that would be a happy ending for him. That would be quite good. And then it's like he's asking Groot questions. Am I dead? Like, whoop.
I like Dave.
Sorry.
I like Dave Bautista. He's a man of ethics. I think he has his principles, and I will give it to him that he stuck to those principles throughout the whole Guardians of the Galaxy fiasco with what's his face. And whatever you think of that situation, you're perfectly entitled to that opinion. Dave Bautista had an opinion, and it went against what Disney wanted, and he was not scared to voice that opinion. So whether you agree with his opinion or not, I have a huge amount of respect for him. Now, he has said that he's worried about his age. He is recently looking a bit older in the nicest possible way.
The thing with him too is he's also a professional wrestler, so his body has been through the mincer like a bloody stuntman's body goes through the mincer. Probably more so because he's had to perform on a weekly basis, and then gets to the big things. And if you want to get the crowd over in wrestling and stuff, you've got to do something spectacular. And if he's done anything, so if you've ever seen, you know who Mick Foley, Mankind is, he was a wrestler and he fought Triple H in his cage, and he threw him off the cage, and he landed on a table, and I don't think he was supposed to land on that table. Yeah, he was supposed to land on the table next to him, and the guy's just, stuck with it. And I think maybe if he stuff like that throughout his career, then it might be a case of he's got a bit of body wear, shall we say? It's a nice point they've put in it.
Look, I think he's been quite honest about this whole thing. I personally would like to see Drax get some kind of happy ending, because I like Drax. Drax was one of the funniest things in not Endgame, in Infinity Wars, especially that bit where he's just like pretending to blend into the background. That whole scene is just so just perfect, and the both of them nail it. No, I'm kind of treating this with a pinch of salt, but I get where he's coming from. I genuinely do.
Yeah.
And there's got to be some animosity still there towards Disney, and he's probably thinking "fuck Disney" in the background. So,
yeah,
but yes, it is meant to be Adam Warlock. Yes, you're right.
Adam Warlock. So that means it might be Soul Stone related. So I don't know. It'd be funny. He has to kill himself in order to get the Soul Stone off, so they can beat Adam Warlock with it. That would be, and then he'd be in it, and then you could have the orange thing like with Thanos. It'd be interesting. Oh no, I've pictured the ending. Right, the ending goes like this. Yeah, he's stuck in like a weird loop. All right, so he sees his family. His family are happy. His family in front of him. Behind him is Thanos. Yeah, and then on the floor next to him is a blade. He picks up the blade, goes, "Be back in a second." Turns around, stabs Thanos. Yeah, and then it just repeats constantly for all eternity, and he loves it. And that's his heaven.
Well, it is kind of a theme with the Guardians of the Galaxy films that there is a death at the end of the movie. The first one it was Groot, but then Groot is reborn as a slightly different Groot. Then we had what's his face in the second one. So you could be right. It could be Drax in the third one. I will find that very difficult if he does die. I think I'm getting more emotional with films these days as I get older.
Okay. All right.
I'm becoming a bit of a girl.
A big softie.
Really?
Yeah, I am. I'm getting worse. I'm getting emotional with films. It's bad. My mum did it as she got older, and I know. But anyway, moving on.
They've done it again. Disney have done it bloody again. They have removed John Boyega's fin from another piece of artwork. Now they did it for the ones in Japan, not Japan, China, and they've done it again. And it's the fact that they harp on about all this stuff, but they keep. It's not what you say, it's what you do that fucking counts. And what they're doing at the moment is wrong. So we've got Star Wars fan accuses Disney and Lucasfilm of removing Finn. He's Finn now. Finn from a new Force Awakens poster. So, okay. So for those listening, there's a picture of Kylo Ren and Rey. Fan art, quite good fan art. It would be good. I like it when it's all coloured in like really well, but as a piece of fan art, it's really good. Yeah, the guy clearly likes his Star Wars. Yeah, so this was released for the May the 4th from the Star Wars Twitter, but it wasn't the original picture. The original picture had Rey in it, it had Finn in it between Kylo Ren and Rey. And actually, I think there's some bits missing from that one too, because I'm sure that Han Solo and Chewbacca is in it.
Was this
TIE
released
fighters
for
are out
the
as well.
Yeah, was this released for the Asian market, or was this the?
No, this is
because
on
it was
Twitter from Disney.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing: I don't think this is a racial thing. I think this is the actor's been slagging off Disney left, right, and centre, which he has been, rightfully so. But that might be why he's been removed. It's probably not a very good idea, considering what the optics are of this, and bearing in mind that you are virtue signaling left, right, and center right now, Disney. So to then go and do this, but I know what's gone on. I know that some fucking stupid exec somewhere has gone, well, he's been slating Disney, so we can't have him in anything. Remove him. And no one's gone,
No, they might well have. They might well have. And he's just gone, no, that's what I want. You do it. That's what some execs are like.
Yeah, it's
true.
But considering that they brought him in to talk about how the fact they screwed his character over and they've removed his poster and whatnot from the Chinese thing and this, that, and the other, and he has been, and his character was started off and it looked like it was going somewhere, and it looks like he was going to be force sensitive. What I was hoping was that Ray would have turned into the bad guy and Finn would be the one who brought her back. That's what I really wanted. Yeah,
I was hoping the story, like you, Finn, being a stormtrooper, sort of becomes awakened, and then gets out of that, gets away, picks up the saber, and goes, "Oh, it's calling to me." And I was desperate for Finn to have this force connection, and it would have made such a much better story.
You're right. It would have made a better story, him having some kind of connection to the Force, because that would have explained how he would have broken the conditioning that the other stormtroopers have. Because he comes into contact with Kylo, who's Force. And then that's the bit that his Force powers wake up, and then he breaks off.
You didn't necessarily have to use Lucas's treatments of the thing. Sorry, I know that's sacrilege to some fans, but look, I wasn't that interested about midichlorians, but you should have had a consistent pre-treatment done of, you laid out your 3 films and where they were going. What you shouldn't have done is brought a director in like Rian Johnson. I'm not going to talk about all the political bullshit, but he was very arrogant in his vision. And that was the wrong director for the type of franchise that you were bringing in. You know, he's all well and good when he writes his own films. That's fine. You want to write something like Knives Out and people respect that film. I get that. He was the wrong director for this film, and so was J.J. Abrams. I mean, J.J. Abrams just played it safe at the beginning. And there were moments, there were member berries in it, but the 3 films, you're absolutely right. It could have been a lot more interesting. And the thing is that John Boyega is a great actor and could have done something very interesting. There was moments of interest there. A stormtrooper becoming a good guy. Ray could have been a much more interesting character, but some of her facial expressions should have been better directed.
Yeah,
there was so much that you could have done with that, and they just didn't. They well and truly screwed it up, and all they have to do is come out and admit that, but they never will. The arrogance of these people is just,
Yeah, I didn't mind the first film. Me and the kids and the wife watched it and was like, yeah, do you know what? I liked the feel of the film, and I was hoping the next one, which Rian royally fucked the direction up, because he didn't continue the story. He just did a new one.
Yeah. And he closed off all the ends from the other story too. So it's where it ends.
Yeah, so he just fucked the entire trilogy up, and I was hoping that it could continue on.
It was an arrogance. You're right. It was an arrogance supreme that he came in and did that, and it was even more stupid and badly managed that he was allowed to do that. And that, unfortunately, that buck stops with somebody who is still employed somehow.
We'll get rid of her one day, Keith. We'll get rid of one day.
Yeah,
don't you worry.
And she employs Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant because she didn't know what was going on, did she?
In Hollywood, where it's an open secret.
Not a clue, mate. Not a clue.
Okay, that's a word's too much for you. Then you should follow us on Instagram. We put pretty pictures out. Thanks. New rumor explains why why Marvel Studios has changed the title of Captain Marvel 2 to The Marvels. It's obvious, isn't it?
She dies at the beginning of the movie.
We're not that lucky.
She can't.
No, but wishful thinking.
We are not that lucky.
Unfortunately, she's not talented enough to carry a movie by herself. So
that's the truth. Thanks. Nice. Let's move on to the next story.
We're on.
So the facts about we've got Miss Marvel, who I hate as a superhero character. She's got big fists. Give her some fucking powers. Then rather, I've got large fists, and it's like
that was the one from the game, right?
that's why the game didn't sell, because people were, and that's why people were bitching about not having Spider-Man instead.
I
Because
didn't
that would have worked
know
better.
who that was. Because I didn't know who the main character was. I didn't buy the game.
The thing is, right, she's Marvel's female Superman. And she's godlike. And the thing is, DC know that Superman as a character doesn't really work in this modern world.
Hang on a second. I thought Marvel's Superman was Hyperion.
Well, she is godlike. She is a godlike character, and those tend to, in the film, she has absolutely no vulnerabilities, and that's a problem. You see, the guys behind DC, the guys behind the latest Superman thing, absolutely get that, right? At the moment, they do. I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but right now, one of my favorite things on TV is Superman and Lois. It is good. It is good. It's none of the CW bullshit that we've had with any of the other series. Taylor What's-His-Face is actually a really, really likable Superman, but he's vulnerable, and they get that. They've made that. The problem with bloody Captain Marvel was that she was the bestest ever and has no vulnerabilities whatsoever. The final showdown with the bad guy, she punches him with her little finger, and that's it. It's over and done with. That's not a movie.
If she's got nothing to overcome, then there's nothing interesting there.
And she sits there with the resting bitch face doing that. I'm the bestest ever. And yeah, it's a shit movie. The only good thing about it is Samuel L. Jackson. And he's in that for about the best thing about it is Samuel L. Jackson and the fucking cat, which is not a cat.
Yeah, I knew. That's when I knew the film wasn't that good, when everyone was talking about bloody cat.
Wasn't that how we found out he's got a patch?
That's the bit that fucked me off too, because you thought that he would have caught a bit of shrapnel in the face from an explosion. He runs into a room. Oh shit! I've got 6 seconds. Runs out, turns around, looks at the bomb, and
I don't mind that. I actually think that's quite funny. What pissed me off was the fact that they retconned in how he got the name for the Avengers program. That's what pissed me off.
Yeah, because he got the name for the Avengers from bloody Captain America in the Second World War.
Mm-hmm. And they retconned that in. But look, I am not interested in this film. I am partly interested in Black Widow only because of the cast. I don't know if it's going to be any good. I suspect. No. What's the girl that's playing her sister was the one in that wrestling movie with Nick Frost. And she's quite a good actress. She's not bad looking either.
Right. This is right. Hang on a second. This is my problem with the Black Widow thing. Is I reckon that Taskmaster isn't the Taskmaster from the comics. It's going to be her mum. I don't want that. I want Taskmaster from the comics, because the thing I liked about Taskmaster is, one, his powers are quite cool. Yeah, because his powers, the ability to see something and be able to replicate it is fantastic. So he can figure out how you fight and whatnot. He's the perfect person to take on Batman and win, because he's that kind of person. Yeah, just to watch Batman fight, and he can figure him out. And then the other part of Taskmaster was he was the one that was training up all the henchmen for all the villains. That's where they go to get him. And that answered the question, the age-old question, who the fuck is signing up for this? And it's not. They're subcontracted out through Taskmaster. And that's how he's making his money. He would train them up and then lease them out to these people. And that in my head was like, that's brilliant. That's the question.
But if
genuinely need
if you're right, there's going to be a reaction to that. If you're right about what's going to happen in Loki, there's going to be a massive reaction to that, because whether anybody likes it or not, the blokes like Tom Hiddleston, the women fucking love Tom Hiddleston. And if they replace him with if we get full on female Loki for the entire series, the backlash is going to be complete. There is already a backlash against Captain America, or whatever it was, in the Winter Soldier. There has been the press is turning on it, saying that it wasn't very good. They're still waxing lyrical about WandaVision, but because that was a female lead, they're never going to trash it, even though it was trash. But the fans didn't like it. They didn't like Captain America or Winter Soldier or the Falcon, whatever it is. There has been polls running. Is anybody interested in Captain America 4? And it's an all-time low. And these are run on normie websites, not geeky websites, not the websites where people who have an issue with wokeness hang out. This is on normie websites. The thing is, Marvel is going down, as is Star Wars, and the thing is, Disney knows it.
Yeah.
And I think in the next 2 to 3 years, Disney's going to be in real trouble. Yep. I can see them selling off the parks. I can see them selling off the parks.
Sell the parks off. The parks are what keep them going. It's the movies.
I don't think they're going to have a choice. I think they're going to have to sell some of their business.
Keith, the parks are the bits that make the money. Seriously.
But they're not at the moment. They're losing them $1 billion a week at the moment.
The Florida restrictions have gone down to 3 foot last time I checked. So anyway, when it comes to Captain Marvel, I can firmly say the following.
Fuck off!
All right. I saw this. I think it's old. It's an older story, but when I saw this, I went, "Oh God, that looks so cool." Godzilla versus King Kong. Someone made Mecha Godzilla with Lego, and wow! Again, for the podcast listeners, sorry.
Oh, that's so cool!
That looks for someone doing that in Lego. That looks fucking awesome. Someone has built Mecha Godzilla out of Lego, and I whinge because I always described it as proto Mecha Godzilla because it doesn't look it's got plate armor around it, but that's helped a hell of a lot with them putting together Mecha Godzilla. It looks fantastic. It really does. I'm just like I'm so jealous. Look at that. Look how awesome that looks. That's great. I want one. Don't sell one. I want one.
I'm seriously getting into Lego at the moment. I've ordered myself a couple of fake Lego kits because they are the real Lego kits. They just badged to something else. I mean, we've got when my nephew was staying, I've got the Hulkbuster Iron Man suit, right? This Lego kit was so freaking intricate. It took 3.5 days to build, but it wasn't Lego. It's Leaping or something. Chinese Lego comes from the same factory. Same instructions in the same numbered bags, all the pieces, the quality of the brick. This is the thing, right? They sell for about 1/6 of the price, and yet the quality is the same. How do you justify that, Lego? I just how? I know.
That's it.
And the thing is, I was in the Lego store earlier, and I've got that space shuttle in with the freaking color Hubble telescope, and I'm like, my wife just gave me that look of you're not spending your money on that. Can't wait till the fake one comes out, then I'm ordering that. Just can't argue with that.
But yeah, I do like a bit like I've got a Lego station wagon from Ghostbusters and a Lego Ferrari too.
I've got the full-on UCS tumbler turning up tomorrow. You know, the 3,000 piece one. Gonna have fun building that.
Okay, let's move on to TV. All right. Elizabeth Olsen reacts to WandaVision's criticism ensuing from Scarlet Witch enslaving an entire town. I love this article because I have to get all the way right down. Where is it? Keep going. All the way right down. Where is it? Yep. I think it's all the way down, right down here. So, I don't know. It's even further down the line. The long and short of it is, she said, she had to get away. The long and short of our argument goes like this: she had to get away long before people had time to hold her accountable. Who got there? And when she went to the place, she couldn't find anyone because it was crap, basically. I'm trying to defend it.
I'm sorry. I'll poor old Wanda enslaved an entire town of people, but she's a whammon. And if she's a whamming, we can't criticize her.
Elizabeth Olsen's argument goes as follows. She had to run away quickly before anyone said, "You're responsible." I will accept that. That is a perfectly acceptable thing. It's like she did. That's why she ran away.
Okay, now I get what you mean. Yeah.
That's why she left.
Yeah. That's acceptable in my book. If you tell me, because I had to get away before people did start bringing out their old pitchforks and burning things. Yeah, WandaVision. I still find it mad that I think I'm coming back to the fact that I do think Hollywood has a massive problem with morality, and I mean real morality. Yeah. So it's like you have those little kind of tests that you do. So, for example, you've got 5 people on a railway track and a fat man on a station. If you push the fat man in front of the train, it will save the 5 people up the track. Yeah, you have that morality thing that you go through for ethics and whatnot. And the argument is you let the train hit the 5 people on the tracks because they're on the tracks because of their choice. The fat man doesn't have a choice when it's wrong. So Keith,
Yep.
you feel safe with me at the next train station. We go together.
Thanks, Bernie.
I was going to ask, does it matter if it was Keith or not?
No, it's a responsibility thing. If they're dumb enough to be on the tracks, then you don't sacrifice someone who hasn't made that choice. That's how I see it. There are loads of different ways you can see it. It's one of those things there's no right answer to. Yeah.
Yes,
it depends how you see it, because I see it on an individual responsibility thing.
You see, that's not the superhero way, is it? The superhero way is sacrifice one to save many.
Yeah. Well, Hollywood has a real problem with morality, and we know that. We've been watching it, you're seeing it play out in so many movies where you're thinking, but this character isn't good. This character isn't what they're meant to be and what you're making them out to be. There is, but Hollywood's been morally corrupt forever.
Well, just look at the divorce rate. It's practically 100%. I think there's Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell are secretly married, and they don't say that they're married because people will give them shit and then they won't get divorced. I think that's what they've done.
I thought they are married. I thought they were married.
No, if you check, they're not married.
Oh, fair enough.
And I think, but as I said, I think they're secretly married.
They do seem to be a very long-term, strong couple.
Yeah.
And when you see them recently interviewed for those Netflix movies they've been in, very much in love, and you can't fake that shit. They might be actors, but that isn't faked. So I kind of like Kurt Russell these days, more and more.
Snake Plissken, man, Snake Plissken. Shit, I even liked him in Escape from LA, and that film's no way as good as Escape from New York. And he's the boilerplate for Snake in Metal Gear Solid, basically. Yeah. Which is still fantastic. I'm playing through that at the moment. All right. Okay, let's move on to our next one. I was going to find a button. That one. On Facebook, give us a like on our Facebook page, Monkey Nut Punch. Thanks. Right. Disney again. Disney can't fucking stop doing shit. It's driving me out the wall. I wish they would stop it because I can find more fun gaming news than I can TV and movie news. Right, Star Wars activists wants them to unwhitewash the Bad Batch. Sorry, not Bad Bunch. I'm thinking of us. Claims characters are racist. Right, fucking hell. Everything's racist. Yeah, milk is racist apparently. Being on time's racist. Working hours racist.
There is always going to be somebody that's got a problem about something. You just have to be level-headed about this. It's the same thing as attacking Ewan McGregor for playing a gay character, because apparently straight people can't play gay characters anymore. Sorry, Ian McLennan, you can't play Gandalf anymore, and you definitely can't play Sherlock Holmes, and you definitely can't play any of these amazing roles that you've played because by these rules of these people, you can't play anybody straight, Mr. McLennan, even though you are one of the best actors Britain's ever produced. But no, you can't.
Let's get back into the story, because the long and short of it is they said they'll unwhitewash it, and Disney apparently are going to...
of course they are.
Are going to make changes to make this happen. Right, I'm just looking at the characters here. Now, if I remember correctly, the Bad Batch are clones, but they're not necessarily all clones of Boba Fett, if I remember correctly, because they're specialized.
Actually, technically, none of them are white, because if they're the clones, they were cloned from a Maori guy who was featured in the second film. Because
the Bad Batch aren't necessarily that, because they have skills.
But they are clones
from everyone else. They are clones, but I think they're clones. Oh, I can't fucking remember. The long and the short of it is one looks like Rambo. That one in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah. That's fucking Rambo. The one next to him looks like the guy, the Maori fella that they cloned.
Yes, because none of them are white. None of the stormtroopers, or not the original clones, are white. None of them. And actually, if you watch them in Rebels and things like that, they are quite dark-skinned. So this whitewash thing means that it's not a Star Wars fan, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No, because they mean white. They mean They don't. You don't mean what you think they mean. They keep redefining things, right?
Yes,
So
I
long
know.
this
Well,
guy
they're
here
always
looks.
going to redefine things.
There's a guy here right at the end who looks cyborgish. Yeah. So the
Yes.
second guy in looks like a bloody cyborg. Yeah, and he's white, and I imagine he probably is white and pale because of lots of implants sucking the life from his atrophying corpse. I thought the Bad Batch were cloned from people who were useful. Yeah,
You might be right.
Because if I remember correctly, the clones for the soldiers were Boba Fett, but the
Yes.
the clones from the soldiers, but the fighter pilots, certain fighter pilots were clones of Darth Vader or something along those lines.
Oh, now you're going into Star
Yeah,
Wars a
now
little
I'm
bit.
going into it. Okay.
That's from books and novels, which was kind of ignored.
I think that's from the
Yeah,
games.
it could be. It could be.
I think that's probably from the games. But the long and short of it is, oh, fuck off, would you please, people, get a grip.
Yeah, but Disney's going to continue placating these people for a while yet.
Just got over a pandemic. We need to fucking get the economy kickstarted, get everyone up and running, fix everyone's mental health issues. This is not important. Go away.
It's literally one man or one girl or whatever. They've made a website and they've made a story out of it. So one person's got an issue.
Yes, but the minute you call Disney racist, they're going to do everything in their power because 50 million people on Twitter are then going to jump all over that shit, and that's what they're scared about. So this is why they placate these people. That's the problem, Nige. But what they're really scared of is people undercovering the actual real racism that is in Hollywood. But we won't go there.
There is. Yes. That's a problem.
I wonder if it's loaded.
You're absolutely right, mate.
Right. Noel Clarke. Noel Clarke got a BAFTA. Now, BAFTA is equivalent of probably an Emmy or an Oscar here in the UK. He got a BAFTA, and everyone sat up and went, "Oh, amazing, amazing! You're the best, Noel. You're the best, Noel." And then he gets accused of sexual impropriety without checking. I've heard stories of him being an utter dick, which isn't illegal. I'd just like to point that out. Being a dick isn't illegal because I think all three of us would have been arrested at several points in our life for being a dick. But apparently 800 members of the UK entertainment industry have signed a letter demanding change after Noel Clarke allegations. It's a case of not a one-off. It's shocking, and it's an extreme example.
You know what this is, right? This is people ducking and covering, because if you actually look into what these allegations are, and I'm not going to go into all of it, but basically, listening to what these people have accused him of means that, like with all of these things that go on in this world, people knew about it. It's I refer to this story, and I'm going to briefly touch on it. I'm not going to say who it was or anything, but I briefly touched on the story about Rolf Harris when all that stuff came out, and a couple of people that are well, connected to the internet. Oh, we've heard rumors about him. This is my point, right? If he was able to do what he did as prolifically as what he is being accused of, loads of people knew and still cast him in the show. Then when it all comes out to public, it's the same thing with all of these things. Oh, we didn't know anything. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Quick, find my lawyer, make sure we drop him like a bloody lead balloon. This is why we said it earlier, it's morally wrong. It's morally corrupt. These people should just shut up.
Okay. Right. I think this is one of two things. One, women in the entertainment industry, in the acting industry, how can I put it? This comes back to that moral thing. Have looser morals, shall we say, than most. Yeah. If you're going to get on with a university student in my age, it would have been an acting class thing. Yeah. So that's the thing, because if they're kind of like leading them on, getting a better part, they look after me a bit better on set, that sort of thing, yeah, then you can understand it. We know that this shit goes on, yeah, and it happens in this industry. It doesn't happen in the building industry, and we know that because we've seen those bum cracks on site, right? We've seen those bum cracks in high vis jackets, yeah. And
I know of several stories of people that have this has happened where women have offered it to get better parts. Now you could argue that is because of the society we live in, and therefore them having to do that in order to. There are arguments on this for both sides, but that's not what I'm getting at. What I am getting at is, if you look into these allegations, the way his behavior is, that people until now have covered up for him. People knew about it. It's the same thing with that silly cow, Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. It's the same thing with all the people knew about it and didn't come forward until the victims came out and said something about it. The minute they did that, everybody runs and covers their own back, and that's what's so disgusting about it. Because you knew about it, you must have done.
There's some other dickish behavior outside the thing. I think that adults behave in a certain way and should be held to responsibility for behaving that certain way. And that's the point of being an adult.
John Barrowman's now in the line of fire for exposing himself on the set of Torchwood, apparently. That's the latest one. Yeah, I know, he does it everywhere. It's John Barrowman. He's famous for it. It's John Barrowman. He flirts with everyone and he gets his dick out a lot. It's a thing that's been around for years, right? But now it's a problem.
Back in the dark ages of my work, there was a gentleman that, if he had a few drinks, would whip it out, and he was kind of shuffled out of the door, shall we say, for that, politely. So it's like, you can go somewhere else and not make that mistake again, right? Then there's the other aspect of it too, because there's him being a complete dick. Apparently, he was filming the thing that you've been watching, Nige, and he turned up on set and he went, "There's only white people here. I want some more diversity." Yeah, and then next day they had more diverse people turn up. Doesn't matter if they were the right people for the job. Doesn't matter that they had contracts that they were doing. He wouldn't have worked otherwise. It could be a case of
There is funny enough, that was brought up in an interview for Empire magazine prior to all this crap that came out, and he has a counter argument for that. It's worth looking into.
What's the counter argument? Can you remember?
Yeah, because he was representing a youth organization, and a lot of these people were from neighborhoods where he grew up, which statistically is more black than it is white. And he was trying to help out the people from where he was, and when he came to set, there was no people representing where he grew up. I kind of hear the argument there. And there is two sides to everything. So yes, he's a bit of a dick. He's been known to be a dick for years. This is not the first time we've heard about this. The other thing is new, but this is not. But this was brought up in an interview. So again, commonly known about by all journalists, because he was quizzed on it in a diplomatic way.
Okay. All right.
So it's I quite liked Viewpoint. I give ITV. They did put it on ITV Hub, thankfully. So I didn't watch 4 episodes. Yeah, it is. It aired on ITV Hub over the weekend, and then they took it off.
You see, yes.
Yeah.
That is the problem. We'd watched 2. We had 2 more recorded, and we needed to download the last one, which we did. We downloaded it, and it was on my Skybox. Downloaded. We didn't get round to watching it on the day we downloaded it, and they automatically deleted it from my Skybox.
Yeah,
I thought I downloaded it in time, so I should therefore get to watch it. But they also deleted it.
Yeah, they also deleted it because
his dick move on ITV's behalf.
Absolute dick move.
And the reason is
I've got it, Nigel, if you want it.
The reason is
we deleted them all. Not bothered now.
Put your guys on mute. The reason it's a dick move, is that you're punishing everyone else who worked on that TV series. That's why it's a dick move. So the producers, directors, the grips, the caterers, everyone who worked on that thing and gets their name on a credit for that TV show is being punished because of one person. Yeah, you could have just shown it and then just that's it.
And the ending to it's pretty good, and it is quite a good twist at the end.
These fucking purity tests are going to just end everything. It really is. This stuff
it's a shame because he was quite good in it. and it is a shame that it's done what's happened has happened. But yeah, look, it is what it is. I just think Hollywood removing his BAFTA and all of this kind of crap. It's the same thing that I've been saying for the last 3 to 4 to 5 years, pretty much since the James Gunn thing of you knew about this prior. It's now that everybody's found out you're trying to act all holier now, and I hate it. It really that bothers me more than what the person actually did.
Yeah,
because
Let's move on. All right, Jupiter's Legacy. I want to hear what you have. I want to hear your thoughts on it first.
What the fuck
I like
is it?
the comment. It's right. So it's a new thing on Netflix. We did watch a trailer on it a couple of weeks back. It's a new thing on. It's the first. Basically, the guy that wrote Kick-Ass is a comic book writer. He used to work for Marvel. Then he started writing his own comics like Kick-Ass and Hit Girl. And he's written other comics within what's now known as the Miller world. And one of these was Jupiter's Legacy, and it was his longest running bunch of comics because he's known for not writing really long series of comics. You know, Kick-Ass was a 6-issue thing. He then came back with Hit Girl, and then there's Kick-Ass 3. But they were all 6 issues, whereas Jupiter's Legacy is a bit longer than that. In fact, Jupiter's Legacy has 2 volumes, and then we have a prequel to see them all in the 60s. And I like the comics. The comics were good. The comics were interesting because it was doing something at the time was relatively new because it was before the boys. It was before the boys. No, not before Watchmen, but it was a different twist on the Watchmen. The Watchmen was about something else, and Jupiter's Legacy was quite good. The Netflix series. The issue is it almost wants to progress certain parts of the story too quickly. So there's a big fight scene in the first episode, and these characters die, and you're meant to care about them because that's where the series leads you, and the series is telling you should care about them, but you don't because you're like, who the fuck were they? I've just seen this really weird fight that there was no build up to. It just suddenly happened, and then we're suddenly at a funeral. Everybody's emotional, and I'm like, well, why do I care? That was my problem. The setup wasn't there. Okay. And they spent 8 episodes building up to how they became a freaking superheroes, and it doesn't work like that in the comics. You know, it didn't work for me.
Right. Okay. So I watched that first episode, and the last 5 minutes, I think, shaved that when they fought what could only be described as knockoff Darkseid.
Yes.
Yeah, because he dressed up just like knockoff Darkseid, and then everyone got pissed because he was about to detonate, which would have killed fucking everybody, and then he punched his face off. Yeah, I found watching it the daughter character I hated so badly that I was going to stop watching it, and then my brain went just fast forward through her bits. So I did, and I enjoyed it a lot more. As soon as I did that, I was like, shh, she's just this obnoxious cow. It's like kind of great. Why do I want to watch an obnoxious character unless you're going to do something with her? And at the moment, it doesn't seem to be doing anything.
They haven't done anything with her, and
the son too. They've done fuck all with the son too in it.
Well, okay.
Really?
I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but they don't do anything with either of these characters, which they should have done. Because they're calling this volume 1, but it's not. It's volume 0.25. It's basically issues 1 and 2 of the comic. This entire season is issues 1 and 2 of volume 1.
Let me get back to it, because the first thing I noticed in it was the Greek mythology or Roman mythology overtones to it. And the thing I liked was that when his father died, with the character who plays Utopia, his father dies, yeah, and he takes up the mantle of Kronos, and he even has a pocket watch and everything, and he's sitting there taunting him, which I thought was I liked that aspect of it. That had me interested, and I was quite happy with that. Then you got the boy with the stick, who I can't remember who's the son of one of the characters in there.
He's the son of George.
Yeah.
George, who is Sky Fox, who becomes a bad guy, kind of.
Anyway, he I liked because when he was especially when he was dealing with the two enforcers, shall we say, because he dealt with the two enforcers because one of them was polite and then the other one was rude, and he killed the rude one and said to the polite one, "How do we deal with this?" And then let him go because he left him be, so he let him be, which was a good sign that shows he's an interesting character. That was a great bit of kind of character revelation, or whatever you want to call it. I was more interested in the bits on the boat and them getting to the island and then going through the whole island thing than anything that was happening in the current times. That was a lot more interesting. The reveal at the end of who the bad guy was, I was like,
"Oh, have you watched it all the way through?"
I watched it all the way through.
Right, so you've seen it to the end. The reveal is good.
No, it's not at all. I saw that and I was like, really? Oh, fuck me.
No, but again, you see, the problem is, Gareth, is it's 2 issues of the comic that they've essentially put into an entire season.
But there wasn't, and I'll be honest with you, nothing fucking really happened.
Well, exactly, because it's 2 issues of the comic.
No, but they could have streamed out. They could have cut the kids out of it. They didn't do anything with the kids. They could have cut the daughter. No, they could waste of fucking time. Just show the interesting bits.
They could have made volume right. The thing is, right, everything you're saying, I completely get because it's drawn out. It's kind of, I kind of was worried because when I first started watching it, the theme music's a bit like Daredevil, right? And I thought, oh god, they're going to fucking draw this out. They're going to draw this out, and they have. The comic volume 1 is like 6 issues, and so much happens, right?
Yeah.
We've seen 2 issues in 8 hours, right? The kids are really important, but you don't like them in this because no, they don't do anything, and they do. This is the problem. They do, right? The whole Utopia thing and what's the face and that whole reveal about who the bad guy is happens in issue 2 of the comic. Yeah. And we're talking a 35 fucking page comic. So
I just like to point out that when I looked at that and I watched that reminded me of what was it, Clash of the Titans one, where you have Ralph Fiennes and Liam Neeson's thingy, because what's his merch looks like he's supposed to be Hades, the brain fella, I'm going to call him. Yeah, it's. I don't know about.
I thought they were going to finish with what happens in issue 3. I thought, right, I can see what they're going to do. It's going to finish on that. They're going to reveal him in episode 7. He's the bad guy, and then we're going to get issue 3. If you're going to do this and you're going to draw this out, finish at the end of issue 3, because then you can have that little sneaker sort of like Marvel aftershock thing. Spoiler, 9 years later, and that would have been huge, and that would have been how you end that season, and that would have been huge. But it just it didn't work for me. It could have been so much better, and it wasn't. It wasn't good.
Yeah, it's no. I think that the actors were a bit dodgy. I could better actors pull this off? No, I think I could. I think there should have been a lot of editing in that bloody thing.
Yes, no, I agree with you. This is what my argument was: is that you produced an entire season out of 2 issues of the comic. There was not enough material to do what you did. You spent way too much time focusing on the origin. You could have covered that origin like that, because that's what they do. Because you need to get into the fact that George, good guy at the beginning, bad guy now. Why is he a bad guy? What happened? And you kind of get hints of that, but you don't get that until the prequel. Why did Sky Fox become bad? Why is what's his face with the fucking burnt face? What's going on there? You know, where's the other dude, the 6th dude of the originals? Where's he gone? What's happened to him? Not a fucking mention of him.
He's got the stick of his, isn't he?
So what's going on there?
Yeah.
How did George and the Supermax prison that we keep seeing? Who built that? What happened there? You know, there's all this interesting stuff. I mean, what Mark Miller has created a really interesting world. It's rich and it's interesting. It's why it's a really good comic. I love the comics, right? But this spent too much time covering 2 issues. That's the problem. Because here's the thing, right? What the Sun does is pretty badass.
Mm.
And you can see where it's going. There's a hint of it at the end of the episode. In the episode, you know what's going to happen, but that should have happened.
Yeah, it's Invincible's much better.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Invincible,
but Invincible. Right, here's the thing, right? Invincible has got 145 fucking issues of the comic, right? And there is a gazillion things going on in Invincible. You know, you've got the Vidian War or whatever they call themselves. You've got all of that stuff. You've got Utaman becoming bad, good, bad, nearly killing his son, bad again, going off and shacking up with some other bird and then bringing the son back. There's all this shit to come, right? Because I know this series as well quite well. As comics, they're about the same, right? But I agree with you that the cartoon, partly because it's an 80s cartoon that I fucking love. I love that they've done this. I love that they didn't. There's no way they could have made this into a TV series and done it justice, because there's two. You can't have aliens coming through the fucking door and like a massive fucking alien attack every 5 seconds and then them all growing old in 30 seconds kind of thing. You can't do that, right? I love it. You were right. I was put off initially from the first episode because that woke crap is not in the comics, but it was there, and yes, there's a bit more of it. But actually, I forgive it because there is so much of what was in the original comic. I love it.
I really like the Mauler twins.
Yes,
I really do like the Mauler twins. The Mauler twins are great. It's a great idea. It's a great concept too.
Yeah,
with them not knowing which one's the clone. And then sacrificing one to escape so you can copy another. It's a great idea.
You haven't seen anything yet. There are so many arcs. There's so many. Adam, for God's sakes, when he turns up, you know, and I'm on the wrong planet.
I love that. I watched this with my son, and he thought that bit was brilliant. And he's like, Earth, not Earth, Urath. I was like, oh shit, wrong planet.
Again.
Oh yeah, he's. I know what Cecil Stedman's probably my favorite character out of that. I like him.
Interesting.
He's very interesting.
He is
very
again. No one is quite what they seem in this, and this is what I kind of like. I love the Doctor fucking earthquake dude. He's like, I'm gonna destroy. That's quite funny. It's brilliant. It's kind of an adult version of what I used to watch as a kid on CBBC, and it's got adult themes. So yeah, it's got that kiddie animation to it, and it shouldn't work, but it does. And the thing is, they kind of lifting from the comic as well, in the because. You know, they haven't changed anything about Invincible.
Yeah,
that's what he looks like in the comic. Love that.
This season has set up so many bad guys for the future. You've got the Titan character, who's the Kingpin-esque sort of one. You've got the weird parasites on Mars, which I know come back to bite him on the Earth. You've got the one-eyed fella, who's also come back, not bad guy, but being set up for the future. You've got the earthquake guy who had his ass kicked but survived somehow. And he's got a subterranean lair, and I think he's building giant beasties to fight him with. And you have all of these things that have all kind of built up. As again with the interdimensional aliens, where time runs quicker in their dimension. And then you've got Robot too, because Robot or Rudy, or whatever his name is. He's got a story and a half behind him.
Oh, there's arcs. What I love is that there is quite a few characters in this, and they've all got arcs. And they're all interesting arcs. And as I said, no one is what they seem. Adam, Earthworm Jim. John looks a bit like Earthworm Jim. He's like a red Earthworm Jim. And again, looks exactly like he does in the comic. Oh, I fucking loved it. Yeah, no, I did. I'm glad you made me watch it. I've enjoyed it.
Did you get all the way through?
I've done it. I've done the whole thing.
The last one, what was it? The episode called We Need to Talk. Oh, man, that's terrible. I watched the penultimate one where they're trying to stop Omni-Man, and my I know it's like my brain goes, "There's no way they're going to stop him," but I'm just desperate. And then the bit when is it the Immortal comes back to life and goes and gets him, and it's like, kind of, dude, you need to punch him through the chest. That's the only way you're going to kill him.
Yeah, but no, Omni-Man.
That says
Omni-Man has got a lot more to come, and again, I like that he's played by J.K. Simmons for a reason. And I know why they've cast him. I completely get it, because they've watched Counterpoint, and I've gone, yep, okay, I know why J.K. Simmons is playing him. Completely get it.
All right.
And yeah,
so our conclusion of Jupiter's Legacy is watch Invincible instead. It's better.
Yeah, read the comics. If you Jupiter Legacy comics, get the volumes and read them. They are really good comics, like all of Mark Millar's stuff. But the only thing that's really ever done anything justice of Mark Millar's work is the original Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass 2 to a certain extent, but again, it kind of wussed out of a few of the things that happened. The motherfucker was nowhere near as brutal as he is in the comic. But I love Mark Millar comics, I do, and I love Jupiter's Legacy, but not the TV series. Unfortunately, it was. They were doing a Daredevil of making a fucking story that you could do in one episode into 8.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So, paralyzed man makes miracle recovery so he can kick his friend in the balls. Chase Freeman, 25, was severely injured during a freak accident and told that he may never walk again. But just months later, he was kicking his friend in the balls. You, my friend, are a legend. You are an example to all men everywhere that, with enough patience and application, you can achieve anything, especially when you kick your friend in the balls.
That's inspiration right there.
Oh, that is inspirational. That is so inspirational. So Chase Freeman, 25, severely injured his spine after slipping on a friend's bathroom floor on New Year's Day and told he was never to walk again. He was left with no feeling below his shoulders. Wow. And had to undergo a grueling physiotherapy so he could recover. To encourage him, a friend named Dan made Chase an offer. Dan said that if Chase, as comedy management assistant, could get back on his friend, he'd let him kick him square in the balls. And just a few months later, he made his miracle recovery. My God. Below the shoulders. Below the waist is bad. Below the shoulders, man, that is that's not good. But he got back. We got a picture of him walking for the first time. Have we got a picture of him? Right, we can see it. Right, for the guys listening, look at that fucking the repair worker that's gone in there to fix his spine. Wow. That's there's some implants there. He's going to set the metal detectors off when he goes through the airport. Jeez, that's
he's going for a Doc Ock there.
Oh, dude, yeah, it is Doc Ock. I wonder if we've got any pictures of him. No, he hasn't. Yes, so to feel a bit inspired, you need to be like Dan and overcome any kind of adversity. And then when you've got there, kick a friend in the balls. And on that note, it's goodbye from me.
That is goodbye for me.
Goodbye for me.
And we will catch you on the next stream. Bye-bye. Talking about kicking a friend in the balls. When are you back in the UK next, Keith?